Hello my dear student, I am Professor Devashish Bose, Head, Department of Criminology and Forensic Science, Dr. Hari Singh Gaur Vishwavidyalaya, Sagar, Madhya Pradesh. Today in this e-learning content, I will be presenting a lecture for BSc first semester students on the topic Government Examiner of Question Document GEQD, which is the content of our unit Introduction to Forensic Science. This lecture has been jointly prepared by myself and Mr. Pronit Vishwas, a PhD scholar and a GUGC JRF at Department of Criminology and Forensic Science, Dr. Hari Singh Gaur Vishwavidyalaya, Sagar. So let's start our discussion while taking a look at what we are going to learn today. In today's lecture, Module 1 will be Introduction and Concept of GEQD, Historical Background of GEQD, Organizational Setup of GEQD. Module 4 will be Objectives of GEQD. Module 5 will be Operational Procedure of GEQD, and finally, Module 6 will be our conclusion. So, can any one of you guess what GEQD stands for? It stands for Government Examiner of Question Document. That means it refers to the government position for the analysis of question document and other relevant services. What is a question document? Whenever there is a manipulation in a document, something happens, you are changing it, you are adding it, you are obliterating it, you are overwriting. These all are known as manipulation. I am talking about handwritten. Then there are printed also documents. So all these things comes into the examination purview of GEQD. Every country has its own document examination laboratories with different name. Here in India, it is designated as GEQD, or document examiners across the different states, and all are under the government's Ministry of Home Affairs, may it be a central government or a state government. When the authenticity of a document is in doubt, then it is known as question document. In numerous cases, question document can be encountered and need analysis about its authenticity. When forensic scientific expert analyzes a question document, that is expert in analysis of a question document, to check the authenticity through different scientific methods to aid in the criminal justice system, then it is known as forensic document examination. Alteration, obliteration, forgeries, chain of document possession, anonymous letters, ransom letters, currencies, stamp, checks, damage to the document in question, etc. are all studied by a designated GEQD, or Government Examiner of Question Document. GEQD expert must be capable of integrating knowledge and skills in the examination, analysis, interpretation, reporting, and testimonial support of evidence. The validity and reliability of experts' outcome depends on the knowledge, skill, and experience of the forensic scientist working to obtain them. GEQD often requires attending courts for disposition of expert opinion as expert witness. Hence, expert must have the knowledge of testimony procedures. GEQD has the following functions: examination of writing of unknown authors and their comparison with the writing of the known authors with a view to fix their identity. Determination of forgery included traced and simulated forgery. Examination of typescripts, printed matter, computer printouts, rubber stamp impression, seal impression of unknown origin and their comparison with samples of known origin with a view to fix their identity. Next is the determination of interpretation, substitution, addition, overwriting, and use of mechanical or chemical erasures, if any, on the question document, and decipherment of the original writing. Decipherment of obliterated or obscured writing, secret writing, and writing done with the invisible ink and retrieval of writings from the charred document. Determination of order of sequence of writing as shown by examination of the point of intersection of stroke each other or by examination of writing over folds in paper. Examination of torn or serrated edges of papers and comparison with their counterparts with a view to determine if the two pieces were the part of one same sheet of paper or other. Determination of age document or giving a limit of ink paper writing implementation, etc. Examination of lottery tickets to determine the tampering in their numbers or their originality. Examination of counterfeit and forgeries, that is counterfeit currency, credit card, passports and other travelling documents or other documents. It is the British government who has set up the laboratory for the examination of question documents to identify handwritings on secret documents connected to freedom fighters of the Indian national movement and therefore created the post of Government Handwriting Experts of Bengal, Mr. C.R. Hardless, Superintendent in the AG's office in Bengal. The person was first appointed in the year 1904. This is what we talk about Indian situation. The setup was then shifted to Shimla in the year 1906 and was placed under the control of Director CID. He was replaced by Mr. F. Webster, a police officer from the Bengal CID, and was designated as the government examiner of question document. At the initial, this laboratory confined to the analysis of secret letters. Later on, other categories of documents start to be analyzed from different criminal and civil cases. During the Second World War, this organization took up the additional work of secret censorship, including the detection of invisible writing and training of military personnel in the field of science. According to Archives of Shimla, it is believed that GEQD Shimla is the world's second oldest forensic institution after the Scotland Yard. In the year 1968, second GEQD was established in Hyderabad, followed by in Kolkata. Before 2002, forensic science subject including document examination was handled for a long time by Bureau of Police Research and Development BPR&D under the central government Ministry of Home Affairs. But after 31st December 2000, Ministry of Home Affairs, Government of India, a separate body named as Directorate of Forensic Science was created to direct and coordinate different central forensic science laboratories, which also included 3 GEQD. DFS runs 6 operational laboratories in which 3 CFSLs, Chandigarh, Hyderabad and Kolkata. Organizational setup as shown in the figure 1, which is headed by Director cum Chief Forensic Scientist assisted by 1 Scientific Officer grade 1 and 18 administrative and allied staffs. GEQD, Government Examiner of Question Document, ACIO, Assistant Central Intelligence Officer. The figure 1 shows the organizational chart of Central Forensic Science Laboratory CFSL. Objective will give you an insight of how GEQD is working. So let's start with the objectives of GEQD. The prime objectives of the GEQD is handwriting and signature analysis. Expert in the field performs various other examinations on questioned or disputed documents to determine their origin or authenticity. These examination includes handwriting examination. This includes comparison of signatures, ransom notes, suicide notes, personal diary and other writings, spray painted graffitis, etc. Question document examination. This includes examination of paper, ink, writing material, used to write question document. Alteration and obliteration of document. This includes examination of alteration, obliteration in handwriting, which the culprit wants to hide the original content by using different alteration and obliteration, means like color, pen, pencil, through erasing different erasures in handwriting to change the meaning of sentence with or without influencing the original content. Non-destructive ink examination. It includes examination of ink material through non-destructive instrumental analysis like video spectral comparator. Impression or print process. Typewriter, check writer, rubber stamps and seals and other duplicating processes like photocopy machines are examined by the expert. Indented impression. Indented writings examined by electrostatic detection apparatus. Deciphering water-soaked, charred or burned document. In the case of drowning and arson, water-soaked document and burned or charred document can be encountered, which can be analyzed by the expert present in GEQD. Physical match examination. Counterfeiting currency and currency note examination. A genuine currency has number of security features. Minor features are easy to copy, but the minute features are hard to copy and analysis is only possible by an expert. Hence, fake currency and counterfeit coins are examined for their genuineness in this center. Footwear print and tire impression comparison. Impression evidences like footwear prints, tire marks, skid marks are also being examined by these experts. Typewritten and printed document examination. Documents like typewritten or printed documents can be examined to determine whether type or typewriter or printer is used to write or print the question document. The question document unit of the lab examines evidence that contains printed, written or typed material. Written or hand printing / signatures, identification and comparison. Document alteration. Counterfeit and composite documents. Obliteration and or erasures. Alternate light source, charred document, document sequencing, indented writing, lottery tickets, rubber stamp and other type of forensic analysis. GEQD has numerous functions related to the analysis of question document evidences. Analysis of document is a very tedious and methodological task if you need good results. Otherwise, it's a casual work. The validity and reliability of expert's outcome depends on his knowledge, skill and the experience which he has gained or acquired and their working group. It's not an individual work, it's a task of a group. The main purpose of examination is to determine or conclude on that question which was arrived in the mind of the investigator during investigation of crime and forward it to the question document center. Evidence submission guideline to investigators. GEQD has been developed a manual with the information for collection, preservation and submission of physical evidences. As a result of these manual guidelines, maximum analytical result and to encourage the optimal use of services offered. Submitted evidence must be labeled by certain identification mark, and this includes a forensic service request form and an evidence inventory form or a packing slip. All items of evidence should be properly sealed in a packing envelope or in a packing container and marked with the initials and dates of the sealing officer. Chain of custody is a prime importance in field of forensic that you know, as the evidence can be altered or tampered during forwarding to a laboratory. Hence, evidences which are not properly sealed during submission should be immediately returned back to the submitting agency. without analysis or without even taking a note of that. And it should be written clearly, not sealed properly and written back to the. Don't try to analyze those things. The evidence control department of the laboratory cannot accept requests from outside other than the forwarding authority document or approval. Any question related to the collection, preservation or submission of forensic evidence, customers are encouraged to contact Forensic Service Laboratory. An example of evidence collection, packing and forwarding are as follows. For handwritten question documents, original are preferably, but the insignation or photocopies, high resolution scan are also accepted for submission. All submitted samples must be packed and sealed in separate envelopes with identification marks, date and time of collection. This is very, very important. Requested standard must be collected, obtained through requested writing or from genuine handwriting samples and should be separately packed and sealed in another envelope with the identification mark, date and time of collection. This is also important. A separate forwarding letter with a list of sample inventory must be sent to this examiner center. Next is tools and equipments used by a GEQD. The equipments which are used by GEQD for the aid in the examination of question document evidences, although critical measurements are not normally requested by the court in expert opinion reports. However, if critical measurements may be required to build up a data bank in the laboratory, it has to be done. In question document laboratory, following categories of equipment are used to examine a question document. They are optical equipments. Optical instruments are those instruments which uses optical light. That means they can be used for magnifying or to clear the visualization of minute objects which are meant for examination. Varieties of optical tools and equipment are used by this field. Imaging equipment. One of the fundamental principles of crime scene management is to record in situ photographically. Once the location of physical evidence is moved from its initial position, that means the scene is now altered, disturbed and has no relevance in the criminal investigation. So, to preserve the permanent record of the crime scene photography is the best option before scattering or taking up. Some examples of imaging equipments are given below. They are cameras, scanner, magnifier. Next, microscope. Microscope, it varies from type, that is compound microscope, stereo microscope, electron microscope for magnification, enhanced magnification rather, comparison microscope for side-by-side examination with the magnification, UV visible light source, lighting source ranging from 200 nm to 800 nm. I hope you know what is nm. It's nanometer, is used to observe these optical range, optical responses, which gives an additional thing to our human eye. Now we move on to our next topic, that is chemical and reagents. In question document, evidence number of chemical test, extraction, chromatography, etc. are used to analyze ink, sizing and polishing agents of paper and other than those chemical tests can be analyzed. These all analysis needs different chemicals like different solvents, reagents and accessories used for chemical analysis of question document. Next in this series we move to instruments. The equipments or instruments used in question document examination generally includes stereo microscope. For minute information from question document can be revealed using examination them under the magnification and light source. Microscope serves this facility to analyze trace evidences like remains of pencil or carbon marks that might be evident of tracing, torn paper fibers and abrasions, pen lift, overlapping of lines, indentation and stroke detection. So my dear student, at the end of this lecture, we conclude that question document which can be encountered in various type of crime and their examine need to be concluded out to aid in the investigation or for solving the crime. In the year 1904, British government established the first handwriting examination laboratory at Kolkata, which later on shifted to Shimla. This was the laboratory where initially confined to the analysis of secret letters. Later on, other categories of documents started analyzed by this center from different criminal and civil cases. During World War II, this organization took up the additional work of secret censorship, including the detection of invisible writings and training of military personnel in the field of this particular science. Shimla was the first GEQD laboratory of India later on, which was merged with the CFSL Chandigarh, other two GEQDs located at Kolkata and Hyderabad. Before 2002, the forensic science subject including document examination was handled by Bureau of Police Research and Development, but after that, under the central government's decision on 31st December 2002, that was the order by Ministry of Home Affairs, Government of India. A separate body named as Directorate of Forensic Science was created and it took over all the Central Forensic Science Laboratories, which include the 3 GEQDs. So objective of GEQD in very vast and the document experts are regularly analyzing a number of cases. Operational procedures not too different from other sections of forensic laboratory which need well-trained staff, organization, coordination, suitable research supportive infrastructure and tools and equipments. Experts of GEQD must have good knowledge and skill in the examination, analysis, interpretation, reporting and testimonial support of evidence. With all these information here, we come to the end of today's informative lecture. Do keep in mind what we have discussed today. So, it's time for you all to do some self-study. It's Professor Devashish Bose signing off for today. If you want to learn more and enhance your knowledge, you may log on to our website for MCQs, quizzes and LOR at www.cec.nic.in. Till then, thank you and goodbye.